We got a mailbag video coming your way, but if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that big red button because we are less than 500 subscribers away from reaching 9,000. We are one of the fastest growing Browns YouTube communities out there, so join the channel today by subscribing at youtube.com/BrownsReport. What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone is enjoying their weekend. And like I said, it's mailbag time. A good way to spend the weekend. I answer the questions you guys asked in a community post I put out. So let's dive into our first question. It comes in from Old Man Drizette. Appreciate the question, Oldie. What are your thoughts on if Cleveland would decide to hold on to Mayfield? Oh, boy. Here we go. Going into the season in case of a Watson suspension, and do you think Mayfield would play to help his chances going to another team? I appreciate the question because I think on the surface, it makes sense for both parties, right? It's the best outcome in terms of a backup quarterback. Baker's better than Brissett or Dobbs. And then it could improve Baker's stock so he can go elsewhere and the Browns can get a good draft pick. Guys, Baker's not playing another snap for the Cleveland Browns, and at least not in 2022. Maybe in 15 years if all this smooths over and it's water under the bridge. But for now, no. I get it because it could benefit both parties. Hey, we need a quarterback. You need to improve your image. How about we band-aid this relationship for 4 weeks? I understand why that makes sense, but Baker is way too proud of a person to come back with his tail between his legs and go, can I play a couple games while Deshaun's over on the bench being suspended? Baker's not doing that. And Stefanski and Barry are not going to have Baker Mayfield be a part of this locker room. I wouldn't say be a distraction, but definitely inviting your ex-girlfriend to the prom because your current girlfriend can't go. It's just not going to happen. But if you don't believe me, that's fine. If Baker plays a snap for the Browns in 2022, I will blank. Finish that Mad Lib for me. And if it happens, whatever's the most creative or evil genius one out there, I'll do it. So I'll put my mouth where my money is. If Baker plays a snap, you tell me what to do, and I'll do it. We'll revisit this in August, September. Gamma Ray with our next question. Do you think it's inevitable that we sign a veteran defensive tackle? And if so, who would you like to see signed? Great question, Gamma Ray. There are some big names still out there, in my opinion. I've got 5 top targets. Eddie Goldman, who was awesome with the Bears a couple of years ago. He took 2020 off, and he hasn't really been the same since. And Ndamukong Suh, I get, is up there in the age column. He's the oldest of the bunch at 35. But he has quietly been very productive for Tampa Bay. Ogunjobi, who failed his physical in Chicago, I worry about his health. Hicks, who has been a long-time staple of that Chicago Bears defense. And then Sheldon Richardson, I understand why it'd be a little weird to bring him back after letting him go a season ago. But a lot of teams like to bring back familiar faces, especially later on in free agency and closer to the season, because they don't have to get them ramped up and caught up with the playbook and whatnot. The one guy I would zero in on, what about Akiem Hicks? I'd say he's my favorite of the bunch. Sure, he's a little older, 32, but if you can get what he had last year, 3.5 sacks in just 9 games, try to get 15 games out of this guy, misses 2, 3 with injury, and you get 3, 4, 5 sacks, yeah. Sounds pretty good to me for a May signing after the peak of free agency. Ian G has our next question. Appreciate it. Which of the undrafted free agents, if any, have the best shot at making the roster? Love this question, Ian, because it's fun to talk about long shots. That's what Americans do. We love the underdog, and that's what UDFAs are. Let's remember or refresh everyone's memory on the UDFAs the Browns have signed. This list changes a little bit, so bear with me as players get added, players get removed. But Harper, the quarterback from Alcorn State, Isaiah Weston, Travell Harris, Mike Harley. We got a tight end. I like this one a lot because it's a thin room. Brock Hoffman, great story out of Virginia Tech. Ben Petrula up in Chestnut Hill. Roderick Perry, again, another spot where there's not a ton of depth in that defensive line in the interior. Same for Glenn Logan out of Baton Rouge. Kelly, linebacker from Coastal Carolina. DeAnthony Bell, a safety from West Florida. We've got Julius Falk Jr. It's a very interesting one. Corner from Delta State. And the last two, Malik Smith, a tight end who has bounced around colleges playing basketball. I know. Same for that Texas Tech signing not long ago. And Sean Jolly, the corner from App State. If I had to pick one of the names, though, how about Isaiah Weston? Named after Isaiah Thomas, but they changed the spelling, if I remember correctly. He was awesome for the Panthers. Over 2,400 yards and 21 touchdowns in 3.5 seasons. Extremely productive. And the Browns wide receiver room is not set in stone. You know what I mean? Like, you can easily see a name of like a guy at UDFA make some noise and make a push to try and make that 53-man roster. So if I had to pick one, I'll go with Weston. He's kind of the popular name right now, so maybe a cop-out on my part. But what about this question? Will a UDFA make the 53-man roster? Drop a Y for yes or an N for no. It happens. You know what I mean? It does happen. So let me know what you think down below. Our next question comes in from Poppy Smith. If Clowney doesn't return, who you got to fill his spot? Do we build from within or wheel and deal one of the two running backs to pluck a good defensive end from another team? So you're not trading Nick Chubb. But let me answer the first question part. If he doesn't return Clowney, I think it's Chase Winovich and Alex Wright. Is that the best options out there? I don't think so. Maybe we see someone like Jerry Hughes, you know what I mean? But I'll go with a within type of role. As for running back trades, Kareem Hunt would be the only name that would probably move the needle much. Although it seems very unlikely that Kareem Hunt does get moved. You could try to trade D'Ernest Johnson. Here's the issue with that. What are you going to get for them? You know what I mean? You're not getting high value on running backs. Teams would just draft. If they wanted a running back, they would have picked one in round 5 last week. And a lot of teams did. So now that the draft is over, sure, there's some teams that maybe would like to get an upgrade at running back, and D'Ernest Johnson could be better than some of these rookies. Probably is. But is D'Ernest Johnson worth a 6? No. Would you get anything more than a 6? No. So I wouldn't do it. But would you trade Hunt for a starting defensive end? Like, one name that comes to mind right now is Robert Quinn with the Bears. We talked a lot about the Bears a lot today. But it was with the Bears last season. He was actually really good on a really bad Bears team, so you got it kind of forgotten about. That would be, I think, a comparable move. Justin Fields wants a running back. Cleveland takes a defensive end. T for trade or P for pass. Let me know what you think. Morris family. The whole family's joining the show. What are your thoughts on signing Fuller, then trading a third-round pick for Laviska Shenault? So the idea of signing Fuller is a fun idea, especially if Jarvis Landry does not return. So I'm open to that. As for trading a third for Shenault, no. No more trading any picks involving day 1 or day 2. One, you don't have a day 1 pick for a little while. But day 2, no. I mean, hold on to these picks because you got to fill a 53-man roster. And a great way to do that is with rookies because their contracts are cheap. You know what's not cheap? Free agents. I would maybe trade for Shenault for like a 6th, a 5th. You know, you got Amari Cooper for a 5th. Now, you also took $20 million off of Dallas's books, so that's why you fleeced him a little bit. But Shenault for a third, that's just too high, especially for someone that's, let's be honest, he was awesome in Colorado. Been a little underwhelming so far in Jacksonville. All right, guys, I think that's our last question on today's show. Make sure you subscribe to the Browns Report. That way, when breaking news happens, when the latest Baker Mayfield rumors come out, or whatever it may be, you stay in the know. So hit that big red button, subscribe, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Make sure you wish your mom a happy Mother's Day, or if you are a mother, appreciate you and everything you do. So I'll sign off there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you guys later with more Browns news and rumors.